can do it.
Okay, again, good evening, everyone. I want to thank everyone for your patience and for joining us this evening. Dante, are we streaming right now?
We are.
Okay. All right, we are now calling this meeting of Brooklyn Community Board 9 to order. Madam Secretary, prepare to take minutes. Time is now 7:35. Everyone, thank you again for coming to the final meeting of Brooklyn Community Board 9 for 2023. It's amazing how quickly the year has gone by. I want to say that, it's been a year, there's been a lot of work, a lot of challenges, but I'm so proud of the board because we've come here in the spirit of doing the work of the district in terms of advocating and providing services and making sure services are provided. I want to thank our executive committee. I want to thank all the board members present this evening. I do want to start off again by introducing our leadership team. If the leadership team can introduce themselves.
Francisco Leopold, second vice chair and chair for Health and Social Services. Did you hear me? Francisco Leopold, second vice chair and chair for Health and Social Services.
Hi, my name is Linda Watson-Lord. I'm the Executive Secretary and part of the Youth Services Committee.
Fred Baptiste, proud Community Board 9 Chair.
Mina Lagute, Treasurer.
Primo Lozano, First Vice Chair. Dante Armand, District Manager.
Right, part of this item would also include normally the announcements of the rules of order for the meeting. The rules of order are posted on the Community Board website. We're going to waive the reading of those rules for this evening, but I just want to be clear, it's pretty straightforward and simple. The only thing we ask is that when we're here, we're respectful. We wait to be recognized by the chair. We want to make sure that people are able to be heard, so when the time is given and appropriate, and when somebody has the floor, they're able to say what they have to say. So we ask that please, if you can keep excess commentary or noise to a minimum, so that way the floor is respected and people are able to speak. And we know that conversations sometimes are difficult, but by having that sense of respect off the bat, we hope that we're able to come to solutions in the benefit of the community, because that's why we're here. All right, at this time, we are going to continue, and I just want to say this also as well. We started a little bit late. First of all, I want to thank Major Owens for allowing us to be here. This is not our normal space, but it's great to be in a new space, new energy and everything, so I want to thank the Major Owens Center for hosting us this evening. We have a packed agenda. We have a very full agenda this evening, so I would ask for everyone who is speaking, please make sure that comments and questions are concise and brief, so that way we can move along in the agenda and make sure we accomplish everything. Again, we have a full agenda for this evening. Okay, at this time, this evening we're going to be entertaining 2 resolutions from our Land Use Committee. We also have 5 applications that we will be considering for the New York State Liquor Authority this evening. At this time, I would like for the chair for the Land Use Committee, Suki Chong, are you here? Okay. If you could come to the front, please. We would ask if you could please give us a synopsis of the 2 matters that we're going to consider this evening: the City of Yes for Economic Opportunity Resolution, and also for the 975 Nostrand Avenue Fresh application.
I'll start with the 975 Nostrand Avenue Fresh application. For those of you who don't remember this, there was an Associated supermarket at this site which shut down when the site was set to be developed with an apartment building. The development of that apartment building was as of right under the R7 zoning. That was as of right under the R7 zoning. It allows dense development. It encourages the redevelopment of low-built sites like the Associated supermarket. However, the community rallied and fought to have the supermarket return because this area is a food desert. There are not any supermarkets within several blocks of this area, and this was an affordable supermarket. So the only tool that really exists in the zoning code to incentivize developers to include supermarkets in their new developments is the fresh zoning authorization, which allows a little bit of extra height and density in exchange for the supermarkets, which honestly they're lower margin businesses. They cannot pay extremely high rents. They do need a lot of space. So our land use committee heard from the developer last year, and this year there is an authorization by the City Planning Commission for this to go forward. There are conditions on which it could be rejected. For example, if the area is not a food desert or if it unduly affects the light and air of nearby properties. But our committee has voted to support this authorization because we do want the supermarket to come back. So if you, I think you all got copies of the proposed resolution. Whereas an affordable supermarket has existed for over 50 years at 975 North Street Avenue, and the current lack of a supermarket at this location has created a food desert for parts of Crown Heights and Prospect Lefferts Gardens, Community Board 9 approves the Fresh program application to enable the associated supermarket to return to this location. Yes. So the additional height allowance in this case is up to 15 feet, and I believe the additional density allowance would allow an additional maybe 17 units of housing on a development that is otherwise about 300 units of housing. So it is a big development, we understand that, but that issue is more related to the underlying zoning of the site than the fresh authorization.
Okay, Suki, can we take questions on that and then we move on to the next one?
Does anybody have any questions for Beverly?
I apologize. If we could come to the front to use the microphone, because that way we enable those who are streaming to also hear the comments. You bring the mic? Okay. Dante's going to bring the mic to you. All the way up. Thank you.
Hello? So, if I remember correctly, we're having to vote on this because it enables them to get an increase in height. But when we had the conversation with the developer, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's not a lot of affordable in this project.
No. So one of the questions that was raised at the ULURP committee last year, this is what is known as a 421A development, which means they get a significant property tax abatement in exchange for doing income-restricted housing. And in this case, the income level that they're restricting it to is 130% of median income, which is about $130,000 a year. So the income-restricted apartments would be for families making $130,000 or more. The other apartments would be market rate, meaning I'm assuming they would charge more than that. So that is definitely a concern for the community. Unfortunately, the fresh authorization does not relate to this. But let me just say one thing. 421A, because it's a state program, does require an environmental assessment. And there are all kinds of documents that go along with that. So if that is the concern, I would urge you to request those documents to see where they are in the process, and to use that avenue to address the affordability.
So the reason that's a concern and it's relevant, I don't know if all you guys have noticed, is that when there's a grocery store under a residential building, the grocery store caters to the individuals that are in the building. So if affordable is $130,000, what is the price point going to be inside the grocery store? It's not going to be what it was before it was torn down.
If I can make the clarification, and I want to make sure that we're clear on this as well. As the ULURP chair said, so this fresh application is separate from the building. The building is developed as of right. They took advantage of 421A and a number of other tax breaks to do whatever they're doing. But aside from that, we don't have control over that price point because they're doing it as of right. If they were doing other avenues, there might have been some input we might have been able to do if they were looking for a variance to go a lot higher. What the fresh application is a program that the city has where it's supposed to encourage places to build supermarkets, especially in places they consider food deserts, where they're encouraging them to, one, build supermarkets, and two, also part of that program is supposed to have some level of price points where it's like it's supposed to be something affordable within the district. Now, other conversations about what's affordable in the district, but the fresh application is supposed to actually have some kind of lever in terms of this is not supposed to be some excessively expensive. But I just wanted to make sure that we're clear. The only thing we're voting on is the fresh component aspect, whether that developer gets the bonus, that extra floor for making the supermarket a little bit bigger.
I just wanted to be clear, the community really fought very hard to get the supermarket, the existing supermarket, to come back. It was definitely an affordable supermarket. It was an associated. We fought. We went to the developer's home. We protested. We picketed, okay? And we got the new developers to agree to bring that associated business back into the community. Now, I spoke to the owners, and the owners has assured me that based upon the fact that they have a reasonable rent for 15 years, that they're going to keep those prices that they had before they left, and they were going to make sure that it was affordable to the community and not just to the residences. This was the promise that was made to us. This was stated when we spoke to them, and we are holding the associated to its promise that it's going to keep its prices affordable to the community in which it's in. And they do have a very reasonable rent, and they have an option for 5 more years to come back. But the developer can increase the rent. So it's 15 years with a very reasonable rent with an additional 5 years to renew, with the developer possibly increasing the rent. So I just wanted that to be clear.
Yeah, thank you, Alicia. And let me just say, if we said no to the fresh authorization and they didn't get it, I don't think that would be an incentive to the developer to put in affordable housing. The developer could just walk away from the supermarket and rent that space to something that would pay as much or more. So that's unfortunately the way that this incentive works. It's voluntary. It's not mandatory. So just something to consider.
All right, we can take one more question with respect to the fresh application. Okay, seeing none. All right, at this time, please, if you would introduce the resolution for City of Yes.
So the City of Yes for Economic Opportunity text amendments. This is the second of a 3-part series of zoning text amendments that the city has put forward. The idea being that they want to remove regulations in order to get stuff done and help, business and development proceed more quickly. So we, at the Land Use Committee, formed a subcommittee to take a closer look at these issues because they're very complicated proposals. They involve several hundred pages of zoning text changes, multiple different proposals as part of these. So we met, I think, 3 or 4 times on the economic opportunity text amendments. And I'm just going to read the first page, which I think is a pretty good summary of why we made the decisions that we made on each individual proposal. We at Community Board 9 oppose the City of Yes for Economic Opportunity text amendments in their entirety. These are citywide text amendments which will result in broad brush changes across New York City, a complex city of 5 boroughs with neighborhoods of varied zoning, mass transit access, population size, etc. We continue to be concerned about the fact that these recommendations were made without conducting planning studies on the current commercial corridor conditions, i.e. vacancies and rents within each community district, prior to deciding if zoning changes were needed. We believe a full environmental impact statement must be conducted on these sweeping changes because the current language in these text amendments places us at great risk of irreversible, unintended consequences negatively impacting the peace, quiet, security, health, and street parking on residential blocks and in residential buildings. City resources are already stretched. Who will monitor and enforce adherence to guidelines as the lines between residential, commercial, and manufacturing zones are further blurred? And let me not mince words. What this is about is introducing hazardous manufacturing uses to our retail corridors where many people live and where there are many other types of businesses and where there are many other types of businesses who would be negatively impacted. It's about introducing automotive businesses to areas where people live. It's about having nightclubs and cabarets everywhere. It's about introducing commercial businesses into apartment buildings on upper floors, on corners where it's currently all residential. Some of you live in those areas where there is no commercial. And also converting an enormous amount of what is currently residential space to commercial space when it's, on the other hand, the city is saying that we need housing. So in addition to our opposition to the individual proposals which clearly apply to our district, we discovered numerous objectionable changes throughout the 664 pages of the zoning text, which were not mentioned in the original public presentations held by the Department of City Planning in July and September. In particular, a series of new special permits would allow nearly all remaining environmental and performance standards to be waived. These changes, combined with the questionable negative environmental assessment, raise red flags suggesting an unacceptable intent to do away with nearly all zoning distinctions and environmental standards while evading public review. We therefore urge the Department of City Planning to throw this whole thing out and start again by consulting community boards first. You know, most of us just could not figure out where these proposals were coming from, who was asking for them, which stakeholders, actually wanted these things. The following is a summary of our feedback and concerns regarding the specific text amendment proposals and several other text changes. While we understand these text amendments are citywide, our feedback is based upon how they would affect our district. Note, CB9 is primarily a residential neighborhood. Most of our residential areas are located within 2 to 3 blocks of a retail corridor. Our non-residential spaces are either part of mixed-use residential buildings in the C1 and C2 commercial overlay districts, or our commercial or manufacturing C82 or M1 districts, adjacent to the residential buildings and zones. Our Economic Development Committee has found that several of our commercial zones have had persistent vacancies in recent years, due in part to rising rents, lack of access to capital, and spaces held vacant for years in anticipation of redevelopment. This implies CB9 does not need additional commercial space. Furthermore, CB9 is already a densely built community, and we would prefer to support the city's efforts to provide housing by maintaining our existing housing stock as much as possible, rather than undermining those efforts by allowing conversion of residential space to commercial space. Following that, we went through each of the 18 proposals. You can take a look at that in the printed versions that have been handed out. But if there are anybody has any specific questions, do we have time for?
Yes, we can entertain a couple of questions. If you wish to ask a question, please raise your hand and we'll recognize you. Okay. Dante, if you can bring the mic over. We'll bring a mic over to you.
This is the first time I'm hearing about this, but are you saying that someone who lives on a block that's all residential, no commercial at all on the block, they can take their home and convert that space of their home on my block where they have traffic of people coming in and out to buy things, and raise the level of voice, activity, and that's what this is about?
Yes, they can. On
Wow.
corners, they would be allowed up to
I just
2,500.
want to see, please
square
board vote
feet.
against it. That's crazy.
Okay, are there any additional questions?
I think the other thing that is missing about this is the fact that they're changing the concept of home occupancy, where home occupancy normally is a person, one person who's doing a small business inside their home. They're changing the definition and they're calling it a small business, where you can now hire 3 people. They're also changing the amount of space that you can do that in. So you could be inside of an apartment building, you can use half of your space, 49% of your space, and you can turn it into a small business. That means you can have a bar, you can have a restaurant, you can have a grocery store, you can have a dry cleaning store, you can have anything as long as it's classified as a small business and 3 or less people. So this, and that also goes to a private house. If you have a 2-story, or 3-story, or 4-story house, somebody has a 4-story house, for example, half that story, 2 of those stories can now be a small business. Just think about the congestion, the noise. I mean, just think about your neighbors. Think about, do you really want businesses where you live? Literally on the floor that you live, or above the floor, or next to you. I mean, they didn't think this through. They did not do an environmental impact so that they could study what type of effects this would happen, and they have nothing in place to enforce when these businesses come. Now, these businesses are all classified as of right. That means they don't have to get a permit. They just open up shop. And then it would be the community that would have to come here, fuss with these guys and you guys, demand that something happen, and the response is, well, it's the law. They can do it. So we're asking you, please do not vote for this amendment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So we will be discussing both of those resolutions when we get to the business portion of the evening. I want to thank, in advance, I want to thank our ULUC chair, who's also served as our subcommittee chair, the chair of our subcommittee established by the Brooklyn Community Board 9. And just to go through a little bit of the process, just for this. This has been a conversation that has been taken up by the board for several months now. I think we clearly understood that this was going to be something that was big and there were a lot of impacts that were going to affect us directly. I think that the subcommittee, I thank the subcommittee for all the work they've done with that, especially our land use committee as well. We've had members from our housing committee as well as economic development, I believe, as well, who have contributed to this. And that's a testimony to, when we put together, we can really do these kinds of things. So again, thanks to all those subcommittees, and we will entertain the resolution when we get to the business portion. Okay, at this time, we are now going to go on to the applications for the New York State Liquor Authority. We have 5 applications that are going to be considered this evening. As a matter of process, typically we review these through committee, the Public Safety Committee, and recommendation is given to the Public Safety Committee as well as to the Executive Committee to be presented to the board. So there was not a formal vote taken by the Public Safety Committee. Due to the time sensitivity of that, we will be considering these applications this evening. There has been preliminary vetting that has been done by our office and by the committee as well, so there have been conversations about this. But we will have an opportunity to ask a couple of questions. We expect to have the applicants here this evening. They're going to give brief presentations about their establishments, and we are going to consider those as part of our business session. So at this time, I would like to ask, is there a representative from Ivy Mix doing business as, well, actually, the entity to be determined, located on 225 Rogers Avenue? Okay, if you could please come forward. All right, if you could just briefly tell us about your establishment.
Sure. Hi. My name is Connor. My business partners, Ivy and Piper, couldn't be here this evening, but we all currently also own Fiasco Wine and Spirits just on the corner over here. And we are applying to open up a wine bar at 225 Rogers, so just actually across the street from the shop. So 1 block directly this way. It previously was a bar by the name of Branch Office, so we'll be making some minor changes to the interior and turning it into kind of a casual neighborhood wine bar, where we'll be serving some natural organic wine, small cocktail list, beers, non-alcoholic items, as well as some light snacks and bites. We've been at the shop now for almost 3 years, and one of the things we found over that time is whenever we've had a tasting or an event, people have tended to linger for an hour or two. It seems there is really not space for people to consume the type of wine we're selling and have a place to kind of meet and convene and really hang out and enjoy it. So we're hoping to kind of fill that void with a nice casual, inviting space. There will be space inside as well as a backyard. Our hours will be 4 p.m. until midnight, with the backyard closing at 11 p.m. We've already taken some steps to soundproof the space for the neighbors above. Music will be at an ambient level. We won't really have any live music ever, so it'll be quite calm, relaxed environment. And sorry, I've been at the shop all day, so I'm a little brain dead. But yes, I believe that's kind of the gist of what we'll be doing. Yes.
If I can ask, if we could please wait to be recognized so that way we can make sure the mic goes around and we can have
I didn't even-
Are you finished with your presentation?
Yes, yeah, I can take some questions.
Okay, hold on a second. Ms. Boyd, you have a question? Hold on, we'll bring the mics. No, I'm sorry. We need to bring the mics because voices,
I can hear you.
for basically, for Zoom.
Okay, I'll do the mic. What type of soundproofing are you currently engaging in, and what will be the final result of it?
So we heard from we spoke with actually the tenants of the building to hear their concerns. And so we've applied a layer of Homasote to the ceiling as well as an extra layer of sheetrock. And we'll be adding some other kind of textured, they call them clouds, to the ceiling to kind of mitigate the sound inside as well. So, I mean, even on a normal night, the music we'll be playing will be more ambient in background. It will never exceed any sort of excessive level of music. And it's a small, narrow space. We don't anticipate it to be full of people kind of being rowdy. It was a dive bar before. We don't anticipate being the same kind of environment as that. So we imagine the sound to be quite minimal.
See one more. Oh, turn off. We see one more question in the back. The mic is right behind you.
So you're near Patrick's Steakhouse,
It's right next door, yes.
right next door?
Yes.
And is the after-school program running? That's right next to you?
The
The
daycare?
Bambi after-school program?
I believe so. I mean, I'm across the street from them. I often see the gate down. I don't see them open very frequently. The daycare? I would have to go over and ask someone, but most days I see the gate of the daycare is down, so I
Is it
assume they're
after school?
closed.
Is the Bambi after-school?
It's a mixed-use building, so I believe it doesn't fall within the 500 feet rule.
But there is a rule of having liquor next to schools, churches, things like that. There is a rule for that.
Right. But I believe as a mixed-use building, it doesn't fall within the 500 feet rule.
It's right next door to you.
Yeah, so there definitely is a 500-foot rule. That also is reviewed by the state SLA as it goes up. If we want to put a note into this to make sure that they review it, that is something that we can definitely do.
I'm sorry?
The 500-foot rule is a part of the review process by the state liquor authority. And so if we want to name for them that they should look into whether this is in violation of that, we can.
But that's something we should have done as a community. It's right next door to him. We should have done that.
And absolutely, this is a part of that process as well.
The daycare's been closed for like 2 or 3 years now. They haven't,
The Bambi's closed?
they've been closed. They haven't opened back since the pandemic.
Thank you, Brandon.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I'm in the neighborhood right there on President Rogers.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether this was passed through the committee, but Mia, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yes, very quickly. It wasn't discussed, but that portion of Bambi is not in operation. The Bambi location closer to Montgomery and Rogers is in operation.
Thank you.
It hasn't been open for 3 years.
And the fact that Patrick.
Thank you for the question, Beverly. Thank you. Are there, I see a few other hands up. I saw Suki and I see Miss Barnes and Alicia Miss Boyd as well. Suki, please feel free to go ahead first.
I don't think anybody is opposed to the idea of there being a ground floor business here, but I just want to alert you to the fact that none of the businesses on your strip actually have commercial zoning. And although you may be legal if you're grandfathered, it could cause some issues at some point. So you might want to come and see land use
Okay.
at some point.
Yeah, I'll take that into consideration. I'll consult with my team. So we'll be open Wednesday through Monday. We'll be closed on Tuesdays. Our hours will be from 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. With the backyard space closing at 11 p.m.
I would hope that the community board would make, if they do make a recommendation for this business, that it be stipulated that it's based upon the fact that a daycare does not currently exist. That there'll be something in your resolution that says, we approve this on the condition that the daycare that's situated right next door is not operable and is not in operation. That way we are making sure that we are protecting our young children, because I don't know what that daycare situation is. They might come back tomorrow, I don't know. But I think it's important for us to make sure that we're protecting our little children from an environment that may not be helpful to them.
All right, I think, was that all the questions? Okay, I believe so. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we'll be considering the application during the business session. You are more than welcome to stay, and if you wish to, we'll let you know what the decision is. Thank you. Okay, the next application we were considering this evening is for, I apologize if I'm missaying, is Adea NYC LLC at 642 Rogers Avenue, cross streets Clarkson and Parkside Avenues. This application is for a new liquor, wine, beer, and cider license and a temporary retail permit. You have a representative?
How's everybody doing this evening? So my name is June. I grew up in Flatbush since 1985. Grew up in the neighborhood, grew up in the community. So I've seen all the many changes. I've seen the community going through a lot of different phases. So when the opportunity came for me to start a business in my own community, I got excited about it. So what I'm opening is this place called Dea. Basically the concept is a Latin tapas tavern, would you say, where it has like small bites with some drinks. You know, we have a small little backyard area as well as an indoor area. This space used to be, it was a brewery before, and also it was a cafe also prior. That space has been kind of vacant for a couple of years now, and I've been, you know, living in the neighborhood, driving by all the time. I just saw it as soon as I saw the front sign, I thought it was a great opportunity to jump on it. Also, our business hours will be from Sunday to Wednesday, 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. On the weekends, we go till 1 a.m. We do have a backyard space. In the backyard space, we're also enclosing as well. On the inside, we are soundproofing. We're going to play background music. It's not loud. Play through the house speakers, through a playlist. You know, maybe do small private events. And that's about it. In terms of the community, I do think it's going to help the community in terms of, I drive up and down Rogers every day, and I noticed that there's a lot of businesses that are closed. And part of that is, you know, I'm seeing a lot of trash accumulate. I see a lot of things in the street. And I think the more businesses we have that are there to help and make the community look a little better, I think that's something that's very helpful, especially me who's been living in the community for a long time.
Thank you very much. We wanted to verify a little bit of the information on your application, just so that we were consistent.
Sure.
Now, Secretary.
Okay, so the opening times is Sunday through, I'm applying for a 2 a.m. license, but hours of operation will be from Sunday through Wednesday, 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. And then also, but the license says 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. because during the day we will be a coffee shop, but we're gonna introduce that a little bit later on. But we are applying for the 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. But on the weekend it's gonna go till 2. We're applying for the from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. That's the license we're applying for. But our business hours will be 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. going till Wednesday. And then from Thursday to Saturday, we'll go till 1, but we are applying for a 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. license.
Okay. No, please, we can't have the shower now. Are there questions? We will recognize a couple of questions.
Sure.
All right. I see you, Ms. Cohen. Hold on. They're going to bring a mic to you.
Hi, can I just clarify, are you going Thursday to Sunday?
No, Thursday through Saturday
Okay.
till 1, but we are applying for 2 a.m.
Oh, but you're applying for 2,
Yeah,
but you're only staying open till 1?
correct.
All right. Ms. Boyd will take the question. Please use the microphones. You need to use microphones.
I'm just a little confused. What is the committee saying about this? Because I'm a little confused at the fact that he's applying for something and then he's claiming that he's going to do something else. What did the committee decide about this?
The committee did not vote on that, so that is what we are considering this evening. If there is a stipulation that needs to be made with respect to that, we can do that during the business session.
Because I would think that you would make the agreement based upon what he claims he's going to do, so that way he doesn't get a license that allows him to be open at 10 a.m. in the morning
And that is the
selling
conversation.
alcohol.
Absolutely.
just to answer that question, we don't plan to open serve alcohol at 10 a.m. My liquor attorney recommended that I apply for a liquor license from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. just to have the hours. That doesn't mean I'm gonna be selling alcohol at 10 a.m. in the morning. That when I don't want to do that to my community, and I think it makes sense for me to do something like that. It's just kind of just to have it, if I have a private event and I need to go a little bit later, cool, then I'll have it. But other than that, that's the business hours that I plan to have open.
Ms. Boyd, I'm sorry. Ms. Boyd, we can't have the back and forth. Ms. Boyd, we can't have the back and forth. But to the point, that is something the board will consider when we get to the business session. We do have the ability to put those stipulations and ask for that writing, that additional language as part of the application. So that'll happen. That'll be part of that conversation, and we'll let you know. We can take one more question, and then we need to move on. Okay. Yes. Hold on one second.
Just wanted to add something real quickly. If you go to the New York City Department of Environmental Protection, they actually tell the residents of New York City what the decibel level of noise should be in your apartment for businesses around you. So what would be really interesting, I've never heard anybody say this, that during construction, they're gonna test the music of the band and go upstairs to the apartment and just measure the decibel level that the city of New York say you should have. Something to think about in the future that maybe, I don't know how that would be done, where they would go to the apartment that's above the businesses and just test it before they give them the permit to go and operate. If they're gonna play music, bands, or whatever, but it is on the New York City Department of Environmental Protection website.
Thank you very much.
If you want, I can speak to the decibel level. Anything. I did research the decibel level actually. So I have experience. I opened a skating rink downtown Brooklyn, Atlantic Avenue. I think that was one of the big issues in terms of decibel level and how loud the music can be. The loudest the decibel level is 95 decibels, and that's the sound of a motorcycle. And that's what you can hear from outside on the street. So the most important thing, what I've already done was soundproof the inside of that space. And I've actually spoken to the residents on both sides of the space above and around across the street. I actually got 42 signatures, and you know, they've seen ours and they've seen everything, and they actually want it there. So, you know, they are fully aware of what I'm doing and they support it. That's why I've gotten so many signatures. And I've also been working closely with the people that live above, and they've mentioned, you know, while I was soundproofing the ceiling. So I actually also brought videos of the ceiling that is soundproof and added a whole new ceiling. So the people above, they won't have any issues and any sounds. Also, we'll be adding acoustic panels, soundproof curtains. So like literally, if you're walking down the street, you really wouldn't hear the music at all if we did, but it's more background music if anything.
Okay, thank you very much. So just as in terms of process, so we'll be discussing the application as part of the business session. You're more than welcome to stay, and then the board will give you our decision afterwards.
All right, thank you.
Okay. We are now going to go on to the next applicant, Bijou BK LLC, located at 1017 Nostrand Avenue, cross streets Empire Boulevard and Sterling Street. This is an application for a new liquor license, liquor, wine, beer, and cider license, and a temporary retail permit.
Well, thank you very much for the mic. My name is Sandra Hong. I'm currently representing Bijou BK LLC. I'm here today with Ms. Catherine Lorisme. She's one of the owners and a daughter, and I have Ignacio Colon, is one of the owners of the establishment. So I just want to be brief about this brand new establishment. This is going to be his brand new construction. It has been done recently the last month. It has been under construction the past 7-8 months since last year. And also the architect have filed all the permits, has been legalized by the permit buildings. The current place used to be a commercial retail store. It was never a restaurant before. And we're gonna use only one floor, so it's about 700 square feet. And we're gonna have only a 30 people capacity indoor. There is no backyard at all. And we have a tall, high ceiling space with about 15 feet. And the whole place is highly insulated. We have sheetrock and have insulation foam inside the ceiling. There are no apartments right above us. The whole block is highly commercial. So we're right on the corner on Empire Boulevard and Sterling Street, right on Nostrand Avenue. And also, we are not subject to a 500-feet rule because there are no schools, there are no churches around us. It's highly commercial, a lot of grocery stores. So within our 500-foot radius, we're gonna be our first restaurant that had proposing the hard liquor license in this neighborhood. Also, we would like to propose this restaurant to be more casual, to have only low background music and live music only on the weekends, Friday and Saturdays. And we're proposing to open late from Monday through Thursday, 3 p.m. until 11 p.m. at night only. And also we would like to propose to open for brunch, if it's possible, from 10 a.m. until from 10 a.m. until 11 p.m. at night, only at the weekends from Friday through Sunday. I also heard, like since Monday meeting, we have heard some concerns regarding opening early, since the previous applicant talked about opening early as well. So I talked with the owners. We agreed to have a stipulation written down if we could actually serve alcohol past 12 noon, just to kind of agree with the neighbor and also the district not to create some, I would say, dispute regarding opening early and serving alcohol. Also, the establishment is going to have a Caribbean fusion type of menu. It's going to be full entree. There is no restaurant around the block that we serve full entree. Most of them we actually serve like takeout or very like tapas place, and the neighborhood is actually looking for this type of establishment, the type of food they're going to offer. And also the owners, they have plenty of experience dealing with restaurants. And I just would like to kind of pass the floor to them to kind of, you know, get to know them, who they are as the new neighbor in this establishment.
Hi everyone, I'm Catherine Lorisme. I grew up in the neighborhood and I just wanted to create a business to give back to the neighborhood and also have people that's working class Can you guys hear me? Yes. You know, a place for working class to network and definitely hang out in a safe, responsible way.
Hi, Nancy Colon. I'm a retired municipal police officer, 23 years on the job. I'm a Brooklyn resident, born and raised. Me and my daughter, we came upon this venture. We thought that it would be a good idea, community friendly, serving drinks at night and light food, snacks, and beverages during the day. During our time that we've been in the building process, we've got a chance to interact with some of the community residents. Like Sandra said, we've been in construction, or we've been done with construction for about 8 months now, and we have several every day. People are knocking on the windows and asking, hey, when are you going to open, and can you come in? So it seems like the neighborhood is really excited to have a new establishment in there. Again, community friendly, we can come in, have a bite to eat. As far as music and sound, we do not have a backyard, but we will play, I guess, jukebox and light music, and that's about it. Any questions?
Okay, thank you very much. We can entertain a couple of questions. Ms. Barnes? Ms. Barnes?
Hi guys, it's a very small establishment. The community noticed that, and I would like to point out to you that there is residential renters and homeowners that are adjacent to the park, not directly the park, but don't say that it's completely commercial. And we also noticed that you said a 30 person capacity, correct? It's very small, but 99% of it is a bar. It stretches all the way around. So it seems to me that that is your main business activity, the sale of liquor. We certainly would like to see some soup and sandwiches, but that's for another day. You know, it's unfortunate that in our community it's felt as if all we want is liquor. It's not true. And at 3 o'clock, you're going to open after the children come out of school. Will you be selling liquor at 3 o'clock?
Well, to answer your first question, the place is not mainly a bar. You can't, when you look into the establishment, you see the bar, but the other half of the establishment is a full kitchen in the back, and a bathroom and office. Okay, and in the front there's 6 tables. Both. Yeah, so you can't see that. Of course, the kitchen's not going to be open. And secondly, after 3 o'clock, kids will, I know, have after school and stuff like that, so they should be on their way home. I do not plan on selling liquor to minors. That's not, I'm not trying to prove to them, or I want to show them that, you know, kids can drink, I mean, not kids, but adults can drink responsibly, in a responsible manner. And I have a background in chemistry, a master's in biochemistry. I work in environmental health and safety, and I plan, like, you know, with the revenue to have a nonprofit for minorities in STEM and after-school programs for them. So that's what I plan on doing. So I do want to have a, you know, them to have a good view on young people that look like them, not just liquor.
All right.
Well, my establishment will.
Okay. Well, we can't have the back and forth. Hold on. Please wait to be recognized. It's important. Suki, I see you, and then we're going to have to move on.
Well, I plan on opening at 3 o'clock because I want it to be more working class people. So I would start getting my kitchen ready around 3 o'clock. But if you feel like that is an issue, I can hopefully try to sell liquor later, maybe 5, 6 o'clock, if that's what the community wants. I can work with that.
So my question is for your attorney, since you will be applying for live entertainment, for live music, and you are in a C1 zoning district here, are you applying for the BSA special permit, which is 73241, on their behalf, to do live entertainment? And just, you know, I'm sure as you know, these conditions are, you know, pretty basic. We want to know that it's not going to affect the character of the area, that you're not going to have big gatherings obstructing the sidewalk when you have live music, and that you've done the sound insulation and so on, which it sounds like you have. You know, my only question about that might be, it looks to me, I haven't been by there in a while, but the last time we did, it looks to me like there's floor to ceiling glass all through the front of the establishment. Are those operable windows, doors? Are they opening?
I can answer that question very quickly. So as an attorney representing my clients, I'm very informed that the licensed architect have all the paperwork for the department buildings, everything has been passed, and we also have passed inspection. Regarding the live music, it's not something that we're gonna bring artists, it's gonna be only acoustical. That means that we're just gonna have perhaps one day we're gonna play drums or guitars or something like that. So it's not something they're gonna sing inside a restaurant because there is no space for that. And as for your question regarding the walls to walls, it's a brick building. So pretty much like the ceiling height is pretty tall, it's about 15 feet tall. And the glass is not operable. So it's pretty much like a glass storefront, solid. And then we also have the glass door that's gonna be pretty much a swing door. It's not like we're gonna leave the door open up. It's not a French door.
And are you planning to have outdoor
Suki, I'm sorry, but we
dining?
can't keep doing follow-up questions. We do need to
The
move.
question is, are you planning to have any outdoor dining or
No,
sidewalks?
no.
Okay.
No.
All right, thank you. All right, I apologize. We do need to move the agenda. We have to move on at this time. So the next application we'll be considering this evening, oh, I'm sorry, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will be considering the application during this session. Okay, so the next application we're going to be considering this evening is for Barb's, located at 1038 Mill Street Avenue, cross street Sterling Street and Lefferts Avenue. This application is for a new wine, beer, and cider license. Your representative?
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you. I'm Brandon Knight. I'm the owner of Barb's. We're planning to open a new cafe and wine bar on Nostrand between Sterling and Lefferts. First and foremost, we're going to be open between the hours of 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. for the cafe. We'll be serving light bites, and then we'll transition to a bar in the evening from 5 until 10. That's Sunday through Thursday, and then on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll extend the hours until 11 p.m. For the most part, we are passionate about being a community space. Lots of programming, that's my background. I'm an event producer. So we plan on not only teaching people how to register to vote, but we're also going to be teaching them how to DJ. We're going to be teaching people how to make candles. We're going to be doing paint and sips. Just like anything that we can do to activate the community cleanups, opening a library. So we're just trying to pour back into the community, and then also just create a nice environment for people to enjoy wine. Any questions?
Can you just confirm the hours of operation?
Yes. We are planning to open Sunday through Thursday from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. for the coffee side of business. And then for the wine, we'll be open from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. And then on the weekend, we'll be open until 11.
Good, thank you. We can take a couple of questions. We're going to move. Ms. Barnes, I see you. Ms. Boyd, I see you, and then we'll have to move.
Do you plan to have live music?
We plan to do some piano playing, something of the sort.
Well, I'm very, not just me, the neighbors are very, very happy to hear that you don't want to sell hard liquor. Community, that was previously the bagel shop.
Yes.
And it was very well run. Extremely, I was very proud of that. Kenneth and Evelyn had the print shop there even before I came, so more than 40 years. So I'm glad that you're respecting that and being mindful of the children, and we certainly would hope and keep the sidewalks clean. I am concerned about oversight. Folks come and say one thing, it turns into something completely different. We've had our problems there from Empire Boulevard to Lefferts, and I hope you will respect that. We spoke during the public safety meeting, and I was feeling that you were trying to go in the right direction. I hope so. No hard liquor.
Absolutely.
No loud music.
Yeah, no hard
It's my
liquor.
house.
We hope to see you there.
I'm going to give you lots of props. Okay, Mr. Barr, I trust that you will honor and respect Kenny and Evelyn, the print shop.
We will. We're going to keep their
Okay.
sign there as well.
All
We'll have
right.
a little plaque.
All right.
So your liquor license is being axed from 5 p.m. to 10? Is that the hours of your liquor
You know what, to be honest, I haven't really thought about it. We weren't thinking to sell wine, sorry.
Wine.
Wine, beer, cider, like, we plan to do that from 5 p.m. until late, but, if someone wants a glass of wine at 2 p.m., it's something that I wasn't opposed to, but, we're open to consider that. Yeah, we're mindful of the kids, we're mindful of the kids, and we're definitely going to be IDing everyone, but sometimes a reasonable hour to have a glass of wine could be 2 p.m., depending on what someone's doing during the day. You can't really tell what people are doing. Sometimes I'll walk into a luncheon or something, and I want a glass of wine at 2 p.m., so I'm not opposed to it, to be honest.
Well, I would hope that the application is very specific about what time the alcohol is going to be served. There's a lot of young children that walk up and down Nostrand Avenue, especially at 3 o'clock. I don't know if you've ever been on Nostrand Avenue at 3 o'clock, but I have.
We'll be closed at 3 o'clock. We'll open back at 5.
So there needs to be clarity about the time for the alcohol, please. And again, I'm just trying to figure out why wasn't this done at the committee? The committee is supposed to be doing all of this, so it comes with its recommendations and have agreements with these people. Why isn't the committee involved in this?
Thank you, Ms. Boyd and Mr. Knight. I just wanted to also just point out 2 small discrepancies in what's in the application and what you named. One, your application does not include live music. It's only for DJ and jukebox, so you might want to consider amending your application if you do intend on having live music. And then point 2, you named that you'd be open until 11 p.m. on Sunday, but your application only names until 10 p.m. on Sundays. So might be another amendment
That's just an error. Sundays we plan to close the same as we would on a Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, okay, so 10 p.m.
Yeah,
okay. Sounds good. And then, to Ms. Boyd's point, the application only asks for the proposed hours of operation. And so I think, if we want to add something in terms of writing around, it's just not a box that exists, like on the SLA application, is what are the hours that you're going to be serving alcohol from, but that can be something that we add as an amendment,
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I think if there's within reason, right? Like, we don't want to sell alcohol or wine or beer at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. even, but if someone wants a glass of wine for lunch, I'm not opposed to it, but I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I said we could take 2 questions before, because we do have to move this as a board member. We will have a conversation. Okay, and I did say at the beginning of the meeting, they discussed it at the committee, but there was not a vote taken. Because of the urgency and the time sensitivity of these applications, some of them have been outstanding. It's a disservice to the applicants for us to not consider it, which is why it's being brought before the board for the evening. Understood, but at the same time, we need to respect the fact that we have to service them as well. That's one of the responsibilities of the board. That we can discuss when we get into the business session, and board members can go their conscience with that, but I do want us to be cognizant of that. That is a responsibility, one of the things that the board is supposed to do. We will address any issues otherwise, but that is what is in the agenda for this evening. Okay, we're now going to go on to the next application, which is Mama Luisa Hero Shop. Do we have the applicant here?
Good evening, my name is Mercy Luna Victoria. I'm the manager from Mama Luisa's Hero Shop. We are located in 609 New York Avenue, between Brooklyn, New York and Rockland. Our hours operate Monday to Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. We close Sundays, and I'm here to renew my license sandwiches, Italian food, chicken parm. I don't know, most of you guys knows Mama Lisa Shop. And I'm so happy. That's my first time I'll be here. And I see a lot of faces. They're my customers. And I'm more than happy to serve you guys. And any questions, I'm here.
Okay, are there any questions?
Suggestions also? Any suggestions, whatever, and I'm here.
So this is for a renewal application. So are there any questions for the applicant? All right, get out while the getting's good. Now, thank you very much for joining us this evening. So we'll be considering the application during the business session of the meeting. More than welcome to stay, but if you cannot, we understand as well, and we'll get back in touch with you with the decision of the board. That will be discussed during the business session. We just close on questions, but those will be some things that we'll discuss. I think that all these applications have been vetted. Well, all these are new applications, so we don't have paperwork, so to speak, in terms of what they've done. But part of the vetting process is we usually ask for if there are any outstanding violations or issues or health and public safety things. And there are none that have been reported for this business. So this is a renewal application. She's in the neighborhood already, and we'll discuss that as part of the business session. Thank you. All right. We are now going to go into the public commentary. All right, this time we have 4 persons who have signed up for public commentary this evening. I would ask, please, make sure you start and stop on time. 3 minutes. District office staff, we're going to give them notice when there's 30 seconds left, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we have 30 seconds left. You'll get a hand. Please, at that time, start concluding your remarks. We need to make sure that we're moving on time this evening. All right, at this time, I would like to call for public commentary, Ms. Maxine Barnes.
Maxine Barnes, community resident. I am stating for the record, the community, myself, and neighbors oppose the application for a liquor license from the applicants at 1017 Ocean Avenue, Bishu, Brooklyn. We request the board to utilize all of its resources and exercise their exclusive power to advise against this recipe for disaster. We understand that the board does not make final decisions or legislate. We request board members to take the initiative and vote no on the application. We request that all electeds support this action with the board. I have resided and advocated for my community on the next corner from the proposed site for nearly 40 years. And my neighbors and I have firsthand knowledge of the area. We have partnered with the former inspector, Joseph Hayward, for the last 3 years, and under his command, deterred and quieted the notorious continuous crime on the said corners that we all witness time and time again. We were very successful. We all now see how successful we were. It is cleaned up. It is much better than it was. To now negate all that we accomplished and allow a bar servicing hard liquor directly next to an illegal smoke shop is counterproductive, dangerous, and not in the interest of safety for all that work there, all that walk there. This is not what's needed in our community. We don't need that. Again, we understand that the board has no power to legislate, but you do have the power to advise with a no vote. I have reached out to the State Liquor Authority's legal department. Students of Middle School 61 and St. Francis of Assisi walk those blocks daily and all utilize the Flatbush Avenue train at Sterling Street and the B44 and B43 buses. We are all depending on you to maintain the peace and safety of these corners. Take a stand. Take an initiative for a right cause, as many other boards have done. And it is really, I don't understand how they already constructed a bar. Is that the process? Is it
30
it's
seconds.
already approved? So, again, take a stand, take initiative. Please vote no on this application. Thank you. And happy holiday.
Thank you, Ms. Lawrence. Next, we have Ms. Alicia Boyd. And as Ms. Boyd is coming up, I would ask if there are any elected officials or representatives from agencies, if you haven't signed in, please come up to the front and sign in so we can make sure we acknowledge you when we get to that portion of the agenda. Ms. Boyd, there's a microphone.
Good morning, CB9. My name is Alicia Boyd. I'm a public person in the community. I'm also, you want me to speak up? Yes. Okay, I'm my teacher voice. The Land Use Committee has done an excellent job by doing an in-depth review of the City of Yes economic text amendments. The mayor is proposing a deregulation of businesses all over the city, from allowing manufacturing businesses to exist in all commercial areas, including inside apartment buildings, to strip clubs and bars coming into the community without any input from the community or elected officials. We hope that you will vote in favor of the resolution to say no to the City of Yes. The second concern I'm raising is the constant absence of our elected officials and their staff members at CB9 General Board meetings. The city charter states that all elected officials and all their staff members must attend all community board meetings every month. However, this is not occurring, diminishing the power of the community board and its residents from getting our issues in front of them. Thus, the community is requesting that, working on behalf of the community residents and its board members, the CB9 send a letter to our elected officials requesting for them to appear at our general board meetings, which are now being conducted in person. This will allow residents to get their personal concerns addressed, as well as inform these elected officials of the positions that the community board is taking on critical issues such as the City of Yes. Secondly, there is a construction site on the corner of Bedford Avenue and Empire Boulevard that has been a nightmare for the community. Countless 311 calls have been done about the numerous violations, including cracks between the sidewalk and the street, a large sinkhole that was created, sewage issues that caused flooding in nearby buildings, and mine in particular, and just recently scaffolding that collapsed. As you may already know, there are already dangerous conditions that developers have been creating all over the city. This includes the partial collapse of a building in the Bronx, to an entire rent-stabilized building being evacuated due to faulty conditions at a construction site. These incidences included various 311 complaints that were ignored by the Department of Buildings. Thus, the community is requesting that CB9 demand an immediate investigation into the site, that this investigation be performed by the fire department, who had shut down the site a few months ago, the Department of Buildings, and the Department of Transportation. We should not wait for someone to die or to be injured or to lose their homes because we failed to act. Finally, I want to wish you all a happy holidays. Safe travels if you are traveling somewhere, and a happy new year, and I look forward to seeing all of you next year. That was surprising, right?
Ms. Boyd?
Yes.
Okay, this time we're pulling up,
I'm sorry?
He just said thank you, Ms. Boyd.
Oh, Fred?
At this time, we'd like to call to the front Ms. Cheryl Bernard.
Hello, everybody. Good night. My name is Cheryl Bernard. I live in East Flatbush, and I represent the area of constituents who oppose the non-vital Brooklyn project. Please check out our website, which is www.saynotoless.org, if you want to find out more information. For those that don't know, they are proposing to build up, in addition to the 4 buildings that are already going up, 9 in one area. They want to put 13 apartment buildings within a 5-block radius of my house. The community, I'm here tonight to ask CB9 to support us in sending an email to ESD to oppose the non-vital Brooklyn project before the January 8th comment period ends. This community board has to support the constituents who oppose this project, especially since an EIS was required, which means that there are serious environmental impacts on the community. At the last Community Board General meeting, I listened to Chair Fred Baptist, thank you, say that he will be with us before, during, and after this project when the problems arise. However, we do not want to wait that long because once the project is up, it will be too late. We need to step up now. I looked over at New York State ESD Creedmoor project that's coming up. Do you know that there are no buildings taller than 6 to 8 floors? And about 9% of homeless, only 9% of homeless units going up. While in our area, Kingsborough, is about 50% of social services beds. And here is the kicker in the parking section. The plan, this is from their website, I have it here. The plan creates parking throughout a mix of garages, small surface lots, and curbside spaces. And the plan makes 2 spaces per unit available for residents of triplex and semi-attached housing options. And it's right here if you want to see. And the plan creates at least 1 parking space for each multi-family cooperative unit and each senior and non-supportive rental unit. Plus, a portion of those units would have the opportunity to access a second space through either garage, surface, or street parking. A reduced number of parking spaces will be available for senior units, which tend to have less and need less residence parking. And there is also a New York State, this is a New York State project, but they do see the difference. You see the difference? What they want to do in our neighborhood is they want to put over 2,000 units with little to no parking. We already have, oh, I have so much to say, y'all. From the website. All I'm saying is, like Alicia said, we're across the street from a precinct. There's never a precinct representative. Where are our elected officials? Where's Jumani Williams? He was at CB17. Jumani Williams should be here hearing what we have to say. I have a lot to say. Please check out our website. You can scan my code if you want to get easy access. Please help us. And Chair, I ask, please send an email in opposition, just an email, in opposition. Community Board needs to step up, and we also need to let them to respect us. We need to demand respect from these people, everyone, and let them know that Community Board 9 is going to take a stand for its constituents, okay? Thank you.
Okay, next speaker is Kim Robinson.
It helps us with the online folks. Thank you. Yep, there you go.
Good night, everyone. Happy holidays. My name is Kim Robinson. I know a few of you prior in life. So I'm here on behalf of Jewish Community Relation Council, NY, with a program called Youth Bridge Brooklyn. This is a fellowship program that we're bringing to Brooklyn. There's some flyers in the back. And what Youth Bridge Brooklyn will do is work with 10 and 11 graders. We're going to be working with them for 5 months. It's a fellowship program, and the goal of that program is to really empower our young adults. In light of everything that's happening, we want them to have a voice. So we are working with them twice a month and doing workshops such as critical thinking, working with each other, diverse group. So many times our young people have issues, they feel like they don't have a say in what's happening. We created this program to really give them that voice, to come up with ideas, what's happening in their communities, and how can they play a part in it. Many times as parents, we make decisions for our young adults, we don't ask out their input. But guess what? Our kids are feeling what's happening, and they may not have an outlet, or they may not know how to go about addressing that. What Youth Bridge does is bring a diverse group, meaning that these young adults who may not look like each other, but they get to meet with each other in a safe environment where they're able to talk about what are the things that are happening. How does my idea and your idea differ? But at the end of the day, we have the same goal. We want a safe community. We want resource. We want this, we want that. Youth Bridge, again, is a fellowship program. Youth Bridge is 20 years It's a 2-year fellowship that runs out of Manhattan, but we want to bring it to Brooklyn. Brooklyn is unique. We have a lot to offer. We want to give our young adults the opportunity to work and identify issues that's happening in Brooklyn. So this, like I said, they meet twice a month at various locations. They'll be meeting at the elected official office, the DA's office, whether it's one of our sessions will be at Councilmember Chiose's office, a 7-member Cunningham office, Congresswoman Clark's office, and I mentioned DA's office, King Street Synagogue. We're moving all over Brooklyn because we want them to understand the diversity of Brooklyn, right? We tend to just see our neighborhood as it. That is not what Brooklyn is about. Brooklyn is very unique and they have a lot to offer. So I'm here to really try to get your help in encouraging our young adults to participate in this program. Like I said, they meet twice a month, right after school, a different location. MetroCard will be provided if not, if they don't have transportation already. And if someone of you may live, let's say for instance, Canarsie, and we're having a session in Bed-Stuy, we'll provide the transportation, whether we have to put them in an Uber or someone will take them home, because safety is still our #1 thing. So again, I'm here there's flyers in the back. My name is Kim Robinson, and we want to bring Youth Bridge to Brooklyn. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, that concludes the public commentary period. I want to thank all those who provided comments for this evening. It's a very important part of our agenda in terms of we get to hear from the community, because that helps inform the decisions that we have to make as a board. I thank everyone. I wish everyone a happy holiday. At this time, we're going to move on to the agenda. And I apologize in advance because time is ticking. We have a limited time. We have a full agenda we need to consider this evening, but we're going to move very quickly. At this time, we're into acknowledgements. And this is also a critical portion because I think this is a good time for us to acknowledge those partners we have, the elected officials, the different constituent organizations in the community. First, I would like to acknowledge, do we have a representative from the Borough President's office? Please, say hello.
Good evening, everyone. I don't have a formal remarks from the Borough President today, but he did want me to wish you all happy holidays. And I'd like to say thank you to everyone. Thank you for making my year so exciting. The meetings have been epic. Chair, if you're sending those letters around, don't send one to the Borough President's office. I'm here every month. But happy holidays, be safe, and make wonderful memories. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have a representative as well from the Brooklyn DA. As this chambers comes up. If there are any board members who have not signed in on the attendance sheet, please make sure you do so.
Good night, everyone. I bring you greetings from the District Attorney, Eric Gonzalez. My name is Karen Chambers. I'm sorry. We have 2 initiatives that I'm here to let you all know. We like to partner with the community. So if you all have any issues or concerns, give me a call. My phone number is 718-250-4877. We're partnering this time with two senior centers. The holiday luncheon will be at Cypress Hills on Fulton Street Senior Center. That is going to be this Friday from 11 to 1. So please come out if the flyers are in the back. Tomorrow. And then we're having Kwanzaa, which we are partnering again with another senior center, but this is a Christopher Veteran Older Adult Club. And that will be at 720 East New York Avenue. And it starts at 1 o'clock. And we're going to have a fantastic time. DA will be at both of them. So please come out and... No, but I can give it to you. Okay, 718-250-4877. And that's my office phone. I carry it 24/7. So you can call me anytime, not on weekends. Karen Chambers. I do come to the meetings. If I'm not here, I'm definitely on the Zoom. So please, don't send any letters to my office. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you very much, Ms. James. Oh yes, and we have a representative from Congress, sorry. Councilmember Maria Joseph Solis.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Taekwon Coleman, Chief of Staff to the council member. So actually, this is my last meeting. I will be transitioning out at the end of the year. So I want to say thank you, everyone. It's been great these last 2 years. I've called you guys a bunch of times, and you've been very responsive. Ms. Boyd, thank you so much. I was like, you definitely stopped by a few times. So I'm gonna just go through these few things. So tomorrow we have a holiday toy giveaway with Metro Plus. The child must be there. So it's going to be at 2221 Church Avenue. January 8th, I won't be there, but the NILAG van will be in front of our office, 930 Flatbush. This flyer is for PB, so it's PB time once again. Please, please, please participate. And lastly, this is the flyer just letting you know all the things that our office offers. Folks call us all the time wondering how we can be of service, but then we have to relay them to either the congresswoman or the state assemblyman. So this is a one-stop shop. Once again, Taekwon Coleman, and thank you, everyone.
Taekwon Coleman signing off. Thank you very much, and best of luck in all your future endeavors. Okay. We have a representative from IDCC. Oh, Ms. Lipkin? Ms. Lipkin?
Good evening, everybody. Nice to see everybody. Happy holidays. I'm Anna Lipkin. I work with Connect IDCC. IDCC is Interborough Development Consultation Center. It's a mental health clinic here in the neighborhood for over 20 years, serving age 0 and up. Our program Connect is rather new. It's actually 2 years old. It started by DOH. We have 9 sites in the city, 3 in Brooklyn, and the main thing is to get community feedback. When we do go out in the field, we do surveys to get people's, what is the main issues, what triggers mental health, and then we create programming according to the community feedback. So our program right now, the focus is we help people with benefits such as one-shot deal, SSI, food stamps. We actually go to people's homes. You don't just have to come into our office, but our staff will go meet you in the field, whether it's your apartment, a coffee shop. So there are some people that can't get out, we go to them. The other thing we have is with housing issues. We can't find an apartment, but we can help you apply for affordable housing. And the last would be vocational. We also do, throughout the year, we have a food pantry, which we put off because of construction, but we are doing hot meals. We just had one yesterday, right in front of our office, gave out holiday meals. So hopefully once our construction's finished, we'll be going back. But anyone who's, let's say, in between food stamps, we have resources. Someone had a fire, we help out with that. So it's like wraparound services, because if a person can't pay their rent or they're behind in their rent, they really don't, even as much counseling as you have, you're still going to have that stress. So that's the idea behind this program. This is our flyer. My information's on the bottom. Feel free to email or call me. And looking forward to hearing from you. And please share this with others. Thank you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Do we have a representative with CCHR?
Hello, everybody. I don't have anything to give out, unfortunately, but my name is David Rossier. I'm the new community coordinator for the Commission on Human Rights. Okay, I'm the community coordinator for the Commission on Human Rights, which is, there we go, a city organization founded in 1955 by Martin Luther King and Mayor Fiorella, with the goal of ensuring that every New York City resident and visitor is able to live a life here that is in dignity. Now, although our law covers specifically discrimination in housing, employment, and in public spaces, we also have a community side as well, and so which is centered on building community and fostering community. And to that end, I will be here at all of our general meetings for any concern, not just about housing and employment in public spaces, but anything that really comes up in the community that we feel would like to be escalated. I'm an open ear, and I'm happy to be of service to all of you here in CB9 and this community. So I look forward to seeing all of you lovely faces soon in the new year and the years afterward. And for now, Happy New Year. And please, if anyone would like my number, I'm at 646-656-3666. You can always come by me I can write it down for you. All right, cheers everyone, and happy holidays again.
Thank you very much. Okay. We have with us this evening the president of the 71st Precinct Community Council, Mr. Cohen. Did you want to say a few words to the board? Mr. Cohen, did you want to say anything?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First, I want to say thank you to the Community Board for the support that they have given us over the years. My name is C. Carl Cohen, and I'm president of the 71st Precinct Community Council. Just want to make a small announcement that Inspector Hayward is no longer with us. So we do have a new inspector, and his name is Thomas Simon. Now, this is a beautiful, diversified community, and it shows here tonight. So on behalf of the 71st Precinct, I just want to say wish you Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and this is what Brooklyn looks like. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and continue to be the people that you are in this community. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay, at this time, we've reached the end of our public session. Again, I want to thank all those who joined us this evening for commentary and to share their thoughts and regards to the board. At this time, we are now going to enter into the business session. At this time, I would ask Madam Secretary to please call the roll.
Good night. Maria Acosta. Nicholas Kamlar. Fred Baptiste.
Present.
Janelle Bazil Charles. Alita Bass. Alita Bass. Augustine Blackwell. Celeste Chase. Suki Chong. Matt Scobie. Matt Scobie. Solo Carey. Eve Coy. Candace Edwards. Bishop Hamilton Gonzalez. Rob Herbert. Yusef Burkhoff. Renisha Lavray. Primo Lozana.
Present.
Mina Legote. Israel Lahur. Francisco Leopold. Courtney Lazal. Netwine Mavina.
John Ray Benet, Latoya McGee, Latimushi, Patricia Moses, Beverly Newsom, Ethan Marvin, Paul Pascal, Yankee Pearson, Vanessa Janella Rowe Perry, Dexter Roberts, Felice Robertson, I never saw her. Vinnie Rosenberger, Dion Saab, Omari Scott, Debbie Timothy, Twyla Ware, Linda Watson Lord, that's me, Teresa Westergaard, John Wolford, Lorianne Wilsley, Chanel Zach, okay, let me just one repeat of those who I did not hear answer. Let me start with Maria Acosta, Janelle Brazil Charles, Max Cohen, Saul Carey, Candace Edwards, Bishop Gonzalez, Yusuf Herkhoff, Renisha Laverne, Israel Hurd, Letrin Lavina, Aaron Mazursky, Jarene Benin, Latoya McGee, Ethan Marville, Paul Pascal, Dexter Roberts, Vinnie Rosenberger, Dion Saab, Omari Scott, Debbie Timothy, Twyla Ware, Lorianne Wilsley, Samel Zachman.
Okay, we currently have, at the report of the Executive Secretary, 20 members present. We do not have a quorum at this time. We are going to continue with the agenda for informational, sorry? We need 23. 23 for quorum. I'm sorry, 24. We need 24 for quorum, so we do not have a quorum at this time. Communications have been sent out to board members. You have 20 members who are here, so there are 20 members of the board who are here, so we knew that the meeting was tonight here in the space. So. Okay, Ms. Board, okay, I apologize, but we are currently, I will address that, there are going to be reports. The only thing we cannot take any voting items at this time unless we get 3 more members to come. What we are going to do is provide any reports for informational purposes. When we arrive at the voting session, if we still have not had quorum, we are going to take a final roll call and we will adjourn for the evening. So at this point, item number 2 of the agenda we cannot do at this point, the approval of minutes. That will be deferred until the January meeting. At this time, the committee reports have been submitted for informational purposes. Are there any chairs at this time who have any announcements that they need to make at this time? Please keep those comments short. Again, the reports have been submitted to the board for informational purposes. Any chairs have any reports at this time? Yes, sir. Get a mic. Let me get a mic.
I'm sure that you guys are all thrilled to hear about another sweeping land use change that's coming down the pike, but we have something called the Green Fast Track Amendment that is going to be eliminating environmental review for quite a lot of new developments that are under rezonings. There's going to be a public information session on January 29th. I will ask Dante to send that out. This is not a ULURP process, so although we can comment, it's not going to formally come to the community board, so you have to watch for that public hearing. January 8th is the deadline for comment on the Kingsborough Psychiatric General Project Plan. Again, not a ULURP process, but there is a public comment process. And it is a very big project, so it will have an impact on land use in our district. So if you're interested in that, I urge you to take a look.
Thank you very much for that. And that information also goes out as part of the e-blast pack, correct? And I guess that's the time, at this time I'll also make that plug. Community Board 9 does have a communication that goes out on a weekly basis every Friday. So if there are announcements of hearings, different events that elected officials or other community partners are having, that goes out. If you have not already signed up for that, please, I encourage you to contact our district office so that way you can be kept apprised of any developments, resources, or any other opportunities that may become available. All right, thank you very much for that announcement, Madam Chair. At this time, we will take the district manager's report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The New York City Department of Buildings mailed postcards to owners of 1 to 4 family homes to inform them that they have open summonses on their property. In that mailing, it should have included the respective summonses that you have on that property. The postcard also shows steps to resolve those summonses. If you got it, please read it, please fill it out. If you know anyone who has any questions, have them reach out to the board office and I'll connect them with DOB and also give them the DOB night hours. Alternate side parking rules, the alternate side parking rules and suspension calendar has been published by DSNY. Copies, I think we have small copies back there on the back table. If you're unable to get them, you can stop by the board office. It's also in our e-blast as well. Community board applications, community board to be a community board member. Those applications are live for the upcoming session. The deadline to apply is February 19th. Applications can be filled out online or by paper. If you go into our website, you go to the news section, the paper PDF is there. If you want that copy, you can also click and go to the link and fill it out online. So you can do it both ways. Instructions on how to send it to Borough Hall is in the application. You've already heard briefly, but participatory budgeting is live via the New York City Council. We're fortunate enough to have 2 council members
who are participating this year, Councilmember Rita Joseph and Councilmember Hudson. You can submit your ideas online. If you go to their respective websites, both of their websites have buttons on the right side that will take you directly to participatory budgeting. The New York City Department of Sanitation announced that in observance for Christmas, Monday, December 25th, there will be no trash, curbside, composting, nor recycling collection on the holiday. Residents who normally receive Monday trash, recycling, or curbside composting collection may place their material out at curbside Monday evening for collection beginning Tuesday, the 26th. Just wanted to bring some awareness to this. I received a notice this week from the DDC informing us that they successfully repaired some sidewalks in the district. Those sidewalks, let's see, we're at the Maple Street Community Garden, 237 Maple. That was actually completed last year. And they also completed work, which I believe a lot of you have seen, at the Jackie Robinson Playground. Address they have is 945 Franklin Ave. That was completed in September. Received a notification today, this week, excuse me, that both of those projects were satisfied. Let's see. Earlier this morning, I had the fortunate pleasure of attending a walkthrough with the Department of Transportation, the precinct, Councilmember Rita Joseph's office. I want to make it very clear. I was not invited to this walkthrough. Luckily, I have relationships and someone informed me that it was happening. So it was a surprise. The conversation at the walkthrough was obviously about Flatbush and sidewalk, the bikes on the sidewalks. Also the new CO was there, CO Smith, Tom Smith, I think it is. I'm about to get to this point. So the walkthrough was at the intersection of Flatbush and Lincoln Road. So I think most of you are familiar with that. During the walkthrough, questions were brought up specifically by myself and Ethan, but he's not here, about the speed humps that seamlessly get denied by the Department of Transportation, specifically the one on Lefferts. I know that that has been years now. He said that he would look into it, so we will see what that happens with that. Let's see. Also, one of the conversations that I had specifically with the new CO of the precinct was about the abandoned cars. Mr. Herbert, your list. I gave him your list. It is sent to him. This CO has made it very clear that he likes doing that type of stuff, which means if you have summonses for abandoned cars, fake license plates, send it to us, send it to the precinct. They will tow them. That's what he says, so we're going to see if we can hold him to his word. But I just wanted to let you know that we were pretty active. I wanted to let you know that we were out there. We weren't invited. This happens all the time, but I just wanted to at least give you all that update. I wanted to also note that there has been some discussion regarding one of the SLA applications, the smoke shops on Nostrand Avenue. I wanted to let everyone here know that I emailed both principals, the principal of MS61 and the principal of St. Francis, yes, of St. Francis. I finally emailed them twice, emailed them again today, and finally got a response from the principal at 61. So if they hear any complaints from the parents there, or if they're seeing anything, I told them that we're a resource. Connect with us so we can work together to figure out these issues that come up, that arise with the school and the smoke shops. So I did get that response finally, so if anything comes up, I'll let you know of that. I'm so sorry? Smoke shop.
Listen, we need to let the district manager complete his report, please.
All right, so that's that. So just a little administrative stuff. There are printouts again on the back table of stuff that we're doing. We are working with the American Red Cross to try to get people signed up for free fire alarm installations. If you don't do the installation, they do the installation. We have a flyer in the back. You get a free installation. I believe they also give you like a 15-minute little education course about fire safety. So if you know any older adults, families with children, please direct them to our e-blast that's in there, take a flyer. We need to get people signed up for that throughout the district. Again, please sign up for our e-blast, we get a lot of information from a lot of organizations. Some of those folks are in here, you know them, a lot of jobs. So if you know anybody looking for employment, we have a lot of jobs in there. We need people signed up for our e-blast. That is our fastest and easiest way to connect to the community. We do not, the community board does not have every person's email address in this district. So we try to get people signed up. If you know someone who is unable to connect to the internet or just are not tech savvy, have them reach out to the board office, stop by the board office. We'll figure out a creative way to get them information. For the calendar, the upcoming year, some of the months have holidays and religious observances. The calendar will be adjusted. Follow our e-blast, follow our calendar. We will try to give as much notice, of course, as possible for these meetings, but things do arise. So if you see it one day and it changed the next, probably something happened, let us know, give a call to the board office. We try to inform everyone as best as possible so they know where the meetings want to be taking place. Let's see. For any committee chairs that are in the room, I just ask, when I send out an email, we get a lot of requests to present before the committees, a lot of organizations. When I send those out, please respond so we can get the orgs in front of your committee so we can get them moving along. That helps everything. And then the last thing is there's going to be a lot of information coming out, definitely pertaining to zoning and land use in this next year. It's going to be a lot, so just bear with us. We're going to try to get it out in a very easy way for a digestible way for people, but just bear with us. And that's the finality of it.
Okay, for the members of the board, if you have a question for the district manager regarding his report, please raise your hand. I'll take the speakers list and you can ask the question. For members of the board, we're in business session at this time. Members of the board, anyone have a question to the district manager regarding his report? Ms. Chong, I see you. Hold on a second. Take the list. Any other members of the board? Ms. Westerdahl, I see you. Any other members? Ms. Leopold, Vice Chair Leopold, I see you. Any other members? Any questions pertaining to district manager? You want to be added to the list? Okay. We see Suki Chong, we see Teresa Weston. And we will conclude with our treasurer. Okay, Chair Chong, go ahead.
May I answer? I'll go ahead and answer. We don't have any legal ones, period. So that's what I told the CEO. There's no legal ones. They're all illegal. They should have a big old sticker right on it if it's legal. If they don't, then you know the rules.
I'm the public safety chair, about 3 or 4 in my part of the community. And then the second thing with respect to fire safety, you know, I know this is maybe a more extended conversation at one of the committees, but I would suggest that instead of handing out free smoke alarms, that maybe we hand out fire extinguishers to the building owners, because a lot of people, including me, pull out the fire alarms because they chirp when you cook and there's smoke and it's annoying. But the fire extinguishers are very important.
Understood. I will note that. And just as a quick note, with respect to the smoke shops, this is definitely not a new issue in the district, and this is something we've been trying to address for a while. Part of the problem is we now have, you know, this process where there are places that are going to be able to do it legally. I think a number of businesses try to jump the gun and see if they can get their leases and get in there and see if they're going to apply afterwards. And I think that in the conversations we've had with different officials, I've spoken to precinct, I've spoken to marshal's office, the sheriff's office. Part of the issue has been the enforcement portion of that in terms of how do you enforce it, because then there are even rules again about how do you catch them in the act of doing it. So these are conversations we're going to be continuing to have in terms of how we do this. This is one of those things the district manager and I have started having conversations with the state legislature, because they're going to need to do some state laws in terms of some revisions with this. Understanding the intent and trying to give people an opportunity to make a dollar and not criminalize it, but at the same time, there's an unintended consequence that we are dealing with. So this is something we are definitely in this conversation. We want to make sure that we're working with the partners, working with the precincts, community groups as well, the community in general, in terms of making sure that if we're going to be doing things in our district, we're going to be respectful. And we're going to follow the laws, and we're going to make sure that you're doing what you need to do. So that is a continuing conversation that we are having, but it's not something that we are blind to, and we are on that process. Thank you. Ms. Westwood. Thank you.
Yeah, I would make a report on 1750 Bedford Avenue, the old Firestone. I would like a report for 1750 Bedford Avenue, the old Firestone location, Bedford between Sullivan Place and Empire Boulevard has had numerous complaints to DOT, FDNY shut that site down 2 times. And a scaffolding issue, one of the constituents brought it up earlier, and I've been trying to get, I understand reports have been sent to the community board, the administrative office, and I've wanted to see them have my neighbors. I live at Sullivan Place, right there, and we would like to know what's happening, what's the update, because they continue to come in the middle of the night and pump sewage. Is what's happening there? Because we continue to see collapse, scaffolding work. It doesn't look safe. It's very risky. We need updates, and I understand that you're getting them, but I haven't.
I don't keep getting them. Got them. Just
You
report.
have to talk to the chair.
Okay, Dante, if you can report whatever information you have, I do have a couple of comments with respect to that, because I want to make sure we have the proper context on this conversation. Go ahead.
For Bedford, so on Bedford Avenue, between Sullivan Place and Empire Boulevard, there was a sewer break there that happened. As soon as it happened, DEP emailed the community board along with all the elected officials and informed us of that. Day by day, they sent an email to the board office letting us know what was transpiring. Con Ed was there, DEP was there, so on and so forth. More than happy to send those to you. They are not reports, they are emails, but just updates on what is happening. A report would be difficult to get from an agency. Next thing, the scaffolding. The scaffolding is separate and apart. If you read the violation on the scaffolding, it actually says that the scaffolding is in violation due to the recent storm. It's not anything to do with the development. That's what the violation says on it. I just want to make that very clear. So to me, these are two separate situations, same spot, two different issues. But all I'm saying is on the violation, it says that the scaffolding is in violation due to the storm. What I feel like is that Ms. Westerdahl is putting two issues together, and I don't.
Okay.
I hear you, Ms. Boyd. I hear you. I hear you. I also said same location.
All right, so order of the day. I heard you are in business session.
Thank you.
We are in business session at this time. So, yeah, and I just want to make sure, just to dovetail, just to echo the district manager's point. With respect to the sewer break, obviously something that is a problem, absolutely. But it's a problem because we have, and this is something throughout the city, we have old sewer pipes. These things.
There were 3 sewer breaks,
right.
And there was also an explosion.
And it's not due, and what the problem is, it's not due to the construction, it's because we have aging infrastructure. So that is something the city needs to deal with, and that's something that absolutely is a conversation in terms
Kind
of.
of strange that all this happened where it was cracking, the sidewalk
Okay, Ms. Westerdahl,
cracking,
Ms.
and we
Westerdahl.
reported it.
Understood,
and
Ms.
it
Westerdahl,
wasn't
understood.
taken care of, and then the whole thing
Okay,
caves in.
okay, Ms. Westerdahl.
For the size of
Ms. Westerdahl, we can't keep going the back and forth. What I'm saying is, it's aging infrastructure, that's the reason why that is.
I would like
Ms.
to see
Westerdahl, please, Ms. Westerdahl, please. So that is the issue. That is the issue where it's like it's the aging infrastructure. Now, obviously, this is something that needs to be addressed on a lot larger level, but it's something the board is being responsive to. From the time it was reported about a month ago, we've gotten those reports, and the DM has reported on that, the information he has received from that. The scaffolding, and to be clear, The scaffolding obviously is definitely a concern, but that is a concern that is something that arises out of different issues that happen with that place. In terms of specifically, DOB and fire had actually put down is because of erosion of the soil, because of the 70-mile-an-hour winds that we suffered as a district, as a city. That's what caused that issue. So there's a partial stop work order, and but that's to repair that situation. But we continue to monitor that situation. And listen, in all situations that happen, and this is the plug for the district office and for the board, that's why it's so critical that we have community members let us know when something happens. Because this way we're able to do the follow-up that the district office has been doing. Plug, if you see something, please make sure you communicate it to 311, so that way the city is aware of it and they're able to keep track of that. And the other piece of that is please make sure you get a reference number and relay that to the district office, because that helps us to be able to do the appropriate follow-up on that, and as well as the district, so we can start moving towards database decision in terms of, if you have one break, that's one issue. If you all of a sudden have 15 to 20 breaks, that's a policy issue. And we can engage the elected officials in saying, these are resources that are really needed, backed up by the numbers that we have internally. Not even a matter of if we get them for 311. But that's the work that the district office has been doing, and we encourage everyone to please make sure that you're continuing to have that communication with the office. Okay. I'm sorry, but we do need to move on. Vice Chair Leopold, and then we have to take the treasurer. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I attended 2 meetings with Governor Hooker, and I think one of them you were present at one of them. And they do have a task force for the smoke shops. They have already assigned a gentleman who will be heading the task force. So this issue that we're having with the smoke shops, they are not just in our community. They are all over the place. So those persons, those persons in our communities who are rushing and just those shops are just popping up all over, and they're thinking that they will get away with it. They will not get away with it. They are there now, but rest assured that they will be visiting them, and a whole lot of them will be shut down. Right? So, and that's one thing that I just wanted to know, that the governor, they are working on that. They do have a task force, and they will be coming after them. The next question I need to ask you, with the pertaining to the walkthrough, was it for bike lanes or for the bike racks? Because I am having nightmares with those bike racks. You go to bed and when you wake up in the morning, it's like you're breathing like rabbits. You wake up in the morning and they're there. Now, Heritage, 10 years ago, we started complaining, and leading to now, we've been complaining about parking. And that was our story. Parking, buildings coming in, more persons coming in, and we're losing our parking. And now, the last time that the council member and I had a conversation, she said that she spoke to DOT, and then she said, hey guys, any of those bike stations which will be erected in my neighborhood, I need to know of them first. I guess that the ink was dried before she came into office, because it's like every week and every week or two, we have to look. When you say they come and they mark up your block, keep your eyes open. We are losing all our parking, and so I just need to know whether there was a conversation when they had that walkthrough, because I'm really concerned about it.
I didn't bring anything up with the council member, did most certainly bring it up. She brought up the city bikes and kind of pressed the commissioner on, hey, a lot of folks have complained to our office about these things. What are you doing about it? And, we'll look into it, type of answer.
But I do want to say that there is work being done from the board level as well. Our transportation committee has been engaged in a number of these issues, including the bike lane, about the city bikes, about potential for bike lanes, and a number of other transportation related issues. So one of the things I do want to point people's attention to is we do actually have the Brooklyn Borough Commissioner for DOT is scheduled to be at our transportation committee for January. So I would advise for members of the public, if you are interested in that, to please come to that meeting. The details will be posted on the board office. Now, as I say that, this is for a conversation. This is to ask questions and to develop solutions. So leave the tomatoes and whatever else at home, because this is for him to hear what's our priorities and for us to get a sense of how is he planning on addressing this, and get that conversation schedule set so that way we know that this is something that is going to be acted on, and we can get time frames in terms of how we do this. Okay? All right, I'm sorry, and the treasurer, okay, the treasurer has made her, okay, thank you very much, Dante. All right, I know the time is growing short. I'm going to keep my report very, very short.
After the report, there are two items I'd just like to bring up.
We can do it, but there's nothing we can, there's no business we can go. What do you recommend? All right, okay, just a couple of items I need to talk about. I guess one of them is the elephant in the room. And I wrote down this is something that I have. To answer the question with respect to the attendance, that is an issue that we're looking at. As we start a new board year, we always know that there's a break-in period and there's, people getting used to schedules, people understanding what their rules are. And we always understand that the beginning part of the year, so from September, October, November, and even going into December, is difficult because the schedule is never set because of the religious holidays and observances. So there's a lot of movement that happens with that. Some of that we've learned to expect over the years. But with that being said, I think, it needs to be said, and there's definitely be communication with the board. That's what we sign up for. And as much as I'd like to be, understanding in terms of life happens and we want to work with people, there comes a point where it impacts the functioning of the board, and we get to situations like these where we do not have quorum and people's business does not get done. So we have already started the process of the district office in terms of compiling information about those members who are not coming in and honoring their commitment. And that commitment includes coming to both general board meetings and, to be clear, committee meetings as well. Committee meetings, and especially that's one of those that I have a big problem with those, because I think people have heard me say, we defer a lot of conversations from the general board meeting because we just don't have the time to go over 10 different items, plus all the reports, plus public commentary to do that in the time we have. Which is why we say the committees are where those conversations have to happen, but that means board members have to show up for those meetings as well. So we are counting those. And, I think the initial analysis is that we have board members who are not taking that commitment seriously. So over the next couple of months, we will be seeing, having conversations with a number of board members about whether they are able to continue the service on the board. And as I say that, I want to be very clear. This is not to be mean, it's not to be a bully, and it's not because I want to have a vendetta against anyone, but it's because, you know what, we have a responsibility for this district to make sure that we are doing the resolutions, to make sure we are approving applications, and we're having conversations on applications. So that conversation will be going on. The choir, members who have shown up tonight, I'm sorry, I'll address that too. The choir who have shown up, I just want to say one, thank you, but I also want to be clear that we're not going to get much easier in terms of the workload is going to increase. As the district manager had mentioned, we still have City of Yes text amendments, we have land use issues, we have cannabis licenses are going to be starting to be considered by the board as well, along with whatever other issues that we have been continuing to follow up on as a district. So I am saying right now, please, if you're here, continue to be here. Make sure you're continuing to check your emails. Make sure you're responding to requests to confirm your attendance. If there are issues, please make sure that that is being communicated to the district office and to the leadership as well. So that way we can plan, we can do what we need to do. On the lighter side, I did want to also just talk about our community fair. I know it's 6 months out, but the 6 months will really fly by very quickly. So I ask for all members of the district, of the board, to please, in your committee meetings, think about ideas of things you would like to see be part of that, to be part of the community fair. We want those conversations to happen in January and in February committee meetings. The expectation is by February, please have whatever ideas you want to have, so that way we can include that as part of the plan. It becomes more difficult to add things in afterwards as we get closer to the event, because we need to start budgeting and begging if we need to do that early as well. So please make sure that those conversations, if you don't see them, bring them up and make sure that those are had. If there are ideas, please make sure you bring those up and have the full discussions and conversations. Also, just making sure that, please remember, the committees have the responsibility to vote on events. If you're having an event, make sure you vote on that. Part of voting on an event is making sure that you have identified all the resources and the parameters for this event as well. Those need to get considered by the executive committee, and it needs to be voted on by the board. The committees don't operate independently. If it's something done by Community Board 9, it may be spearheaded by a committee, but it's a Community Board 9 event. And we need to make sure that we are fully supporting and we're behind them as necessary, but that means that communication has to happen as a point in the process. The last piece that I want to discuss very quickly, I discussed the bad side about it in terms of attendance, and we're going to be starting processes in terms of having those conversations. But the other piece of that is, if you are interested in joining the community board, that process is opened up. I would encourage you, if you have that desire to serve, if you would like to be a part of the board, if you want to jump into these conversations, if you want to stay here until 10 o'clock on Thursdays of the month, or the second Tuesday, 4 Tuesdays, please make sure you apply. Those applications are available through the Borough President's office. We will be having an open house. We've done it for a couple of years. We intend to have that again this year, tentatively scheduled for January 18th, where hopefully we'll get to introduce some of the work that the board does, as well as answer any questions. So that'll be coming as well. That is all I have for the report. I'm sorry, but let me get back, I guess this final piece of my report, and I do want to apologize in advance to the applicants. Unfortunately, we do not have quorum, at least as at this point, we do not have quorum. We would not be able to vote on the applications. What I would ask is if you can come talk to us after the meeting, and we can see what can be done, if there's anything we'll be able to do in terms of that, if there's any time frames, or if we're able to defer to next month, we can discuss what we can do with that. But I offer my apologies on behalf of the board, that this was not considered and voted on at this meeting. The final thing was an apology to the applicants that we didn't consider applications. No, to speak about their applications, because I know that there are some of them are time sensitive, so there are issues with that. We want to make sure that we address those in the best way we can. So I'll be here afterwards and we can have that conversation with you. All right, so for board members, are there any questions with respect to the to my report? We'll take a few questions very quickly. Ms. Westerdahl, I see you. Mr. Herbert, I see you. And who else? Let's see. Ms. Marshall, I see you. Any other members with questions? We're going to close the list momentarily. Ms. Chase, I see.
So this is just one question with respect to.
Okay, hold on. I'm taking this. Let me just take this. Ms. Chase, anyone else have questions? Suki, I see you. Okay. We need to keep them very brief as well, okay? Anyone else have a question? Any other questions from the board? All right, Ms. Okay, I think Suki, I think you're last name. We're going to close on Suki. All right, Ms. Westerdahl.
Hi, I'm just.
Chase's first. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I just have one question about the licenses. I have one question about the liquor licenses because there was so much lack of clarity around the times of operation, particularly with respect to when liquor will be served. And I know the applicants are doing the best they can, and that their concepts seem to be quite good for the community, at least in some respects. So I would recommend that when they come back to the board next time, that there's clarity in the applications as to when liquor will be served, and any other things that have been discussed during the meeting, because this has been a continuing issue really for the board, but it really puts at a disadvantage not only the applicants but the community to have input about when they want to have liquor served and these establishments operated. So that's just a request for the next meeting. So thank you.
No, thank you for that. That's great. Okay, Ms. Westbrook.
Yeah, I also want to express concern when I ask the applicants for the liquor licenses. Do we vote on this again? They have to present again? I see that these people put a lot of heart into their businesses and into their presentations, and it's really unfortunate that we aren't able to vote on this. Can we call an extra meeting to vote on this, maybe right at the first of the year, just to get this through? I mean, it's really, we're hoping on working class people and businesses here. Is there something we can do to get them through?
I'm going to have a conversation with the applicants to see what we can do. My initial reaction is, if it's hard to get people to come to a regular meeting, I don't know if they can do a special. but we're going to see what we can do about that in terms of that'll be the conversation. Mr. Herbert.
Hello, everyone. I too have a concern with the SLA process. As a former project manager, the process eludes me on how that we can review these applications while the business owners are in the construction phase as opposed to the design phase. Right? So, can this process move the applications to when the business owners are in the design phase? Now, when they start putting pen to paper, what they're going to design, how they're going to design their whole space, and at that point, you submit the SLA. At that, it's a much more efficient process if we have information at the design phase. And if we can, I'd like to set up a motion for motion to be presented.
We don't have quorum.
No quorum. Okay, so but we should look at that and see if that process can be done earlier in the design phase. Because right now, this is too late in the construction phase. It's just way too late.
I'm definitely open to options. I think that there are a few things that, as we've gone along, we've discovered there's probably things that we can do to strengthen our application process, just to make sure that there are certain things that are clear. We've started the process, actually our first vice chair from last year, in terms of getting the questionnaire. We've done some modernization, and there's probably some more updates we can do to that as well. And I think it's probably important for us to start having conversations around what the expectations are of the board to make sure we're always consistent. So if there are expectations around times, we should be upfront about that. So when the applicant comes to us, they know what we expect. So instead of bargaining on the floor, that conversation's already been done, it's been had in committee, so we're really just getting to the crux of who are you, what are you trying to do, and is it a good fit for you? So those are conversations we're going to be having. I'll be working with the public safety chair, and these will be conversations we're having as a board, and I need to move it along. Definitely want to talk about this. Ms. Marshall.
Seriously, I can only speak for myself. We did have a quorum at the meeting on Monday. I'm not really sure. We didn't want to vote in front of the people who gave the applications. I thought that our vote was going to go to the executive committee, so I was not vote. I would like to tell these lovely, lovely people who came here tonight to make their presentation, I am so proud that we have people who want to invest money in our neighborhood. They want to gut renovate stores. They have a store, they want to open a second one, and it's not only to make money. Every single one of them is talking about how they want to create a community place for people to feel comfortable and get together. And I'm proud.
Thank you very much. All right, we're going to go to Ms. Shaw, and that was the final. I'm sorry, we can't. Okay, order of the day, order of the day, order of the day. We have the speakers list. Order of the day, we have the speakers list. Suki, you have the floor now. You have. Okay, order of the day, order of the day, order of the day. Ms. Chong has the floor. Per the House rules, please respect the speakers in the floor when they have it. Ms. Chong, please.
So I just want to.
Okay, if there's a conversation, please have that outside. Ms. Chong.
So I just want to know, for all of the applicants who are asking for live music or dancing, I would think almost all of you are A.C.1 or C2.
Suki, please make it belong to my report, because that's a conversation that's separate.
Right, so have you been alerted to the fact that you need to apply for a VSA special permit if you're asking for live music? That is separate from the liquor license, but, if you're checking off from your liquor license that you want live music, that's something that you need to do. That VSA's Board of Standards and Appeals, that's a zoning issue. The second issue is, I really appreciate that all of you are talking about the sound insulation, the noise mitigation. It sounds like the hours are becoming more reasonable, but if you're doing outdoor space, you need to think about whether you're playing music outdoors and what the hours for that are going to be. because that's obviously going to create much more of a noise impact than if you're indoors. So it's, you know, and it could defeat all of the expensive noise mitigation that you're doing. So just, you know, those things.
Okay, thank you. All right, with that, concludes my report for information purposes only. Madam Secretary, we close the floor, okay? I'm sorry, I apologize, but we have a time crunch, we gotta get ready now. Madam Secretary, at this point, we have done all of the reports for information purposes. Madam Secretary is going to call the roll, final roll call, and we are going to adjourn for the evening. Madam Secretary, please. Okay, call the roll. Please listen for your name. This is the final roll call for attendance for this evening.
Maria Acosta. Nicholas Almanar. Fred Baptiste. Janelle Bazoo Charles. Jacob Berman. Anita Bass. Augustine Gotwell.
She's here. Augustine, she's chilling.
Okay. I know you understand. Celeste Chase. Suki Chow. Max Cohen. Eve Cohen. Sol Perry. Candace Edwards. Bishop Gonzalez. Rob Herbert.
Here.
Yusuf Herkoff. Renisha Labre. Labari, I'm sorry, Labari. Primo Lozano.
Present.
Mina Legote. Israel Leher. Francisco Leopold. Courtney Lazal. Letrin Lavina. Aaron Mazursky. John Renee Benin. Latoya McGee. Latin Muski. Patricia Moses. Beverly Newsom. Ethan Norville. Paul Pascal. Yankee Pearson. Vanessa. Unanimous Paris. Dexter Roberts. Felice Robertson. Benny Rosenberger. Dion Sapp. Omari Scott. Debbie Timothy. Twyla Ware. Linda Watson Lord, President. Ms. Westergaard. Mr. Wolfley. Lorianne Wilsley. Samantha Lockton. Mr. Chair, change.
Okay, and with that, Brooklyn Community Board 9, I thank everyone for the service throughout the year. We are going to meet up in the new year. Please make sure you are checking calendars. Please make sure you are responding. If you get an email, respond. Everyone, please enjoy the rest of your holiday season. Have a happy new year. Looking forward to getting to work in 2024. Thank you. We stand adjourned. Time is now